The Middle East is on fire, and US military forces are standing right in the middle of it. Missiles and drone strikes are everywhere in this region. The biggest question: will this escalate into a full-scale regional war? And if it does, will Iran ever send its navy to fight the US at sea? In early 2026, the US and Israel launched a massive coordinated military operation against Iran. Devastating strikes targeted Iran's senior leadership and missile infrastructure, resulting in the death of the supreme leader Ayatollah. His son swiftly consolidated power. Iran retaliated, launching ballistic missiles and drones at Israel and US bases across Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and other Gulf allies. They went even further, closing the Strait of Hormuz by secretly laying sea mines and attacking Allied merchant ships. Naturally, this disrupted global shipping, forcing Washington's hand. To keep the strait open, the US deployed heavily armed destroyers and the USS Abraham Lincoln and USS Gerald R. Ford carrier strike groups. By mid-March, they doubled down, deploying amphibious ready groups USS Tripoli and USS Boxer, loaded with Marines. The messaging was clear: the US is preparing for all-out war. The war escalated into the energy sector, with Israel striking Iran's South Pars gas field, and Iran hitting Qatar's Ras Laffan liquid natural gas facility. While the US and Israel rely on advanced airstrikes, Iran uses swarms of Shahed kamikaze drones to saturate enemy air defenses. This is a masterclass in asymmetric warfare. Shahed drones cost around $20,000, incredibly cheap compared to the multi-million-dollar Patriot and THAAD interceptor missiles the US and Israel use to shoot them down. On the water, IRGC fast attack swarm boats are attacking enemy ships in the Strait of Hormuz, making it nearly impossible for US destroyers to safely escort commercial vessels. Meanwhile, Iran's proxies, like Hezbollah and Lebanon and the Houthis in Yemen, are aggressively gearing up to join the fight. With the US Navy massively increasing its assets, Iran is relying entirely on missiles, cheap drones, hit-and-run speedboats, and proxies. Now, this raises one massive question. With all of this firepower, why is Iran not sending their actual navy to face the US Navy in a conventional war? To understand the answer to that question, we have to go back to the 1980s. 8 hours of a certain day, to be exact. During the brutal Iran-Iraq War in the 1980s, Iran tried to drain Iraq's finances by targeting their oil tankers in the Persian Gulf. When Kuwait stepped in to help Iraq move its oil, Iran simply extended their attacks to Kuwaiti ships as well. Naturally, things escalated quickly. Kuwait was one of the few oil producers selling below OPEC rates, keeping global fuel prices stable. When their tankers started burning, global fuel prices spiked, immediately getting Washington's attention. The US assembled the single largest naval convoy since World War II to protect the tankers. Instead of backing down, Iran secretly scattered magnetic underwater mines across international waters. That decision cost them everything. On April 14, 1988, the guided missile frigate USS Samuel B. Roberts sailed straight into an Iranian minefield. A mine detonated under the hull, tearing a 15-foot wide hole and snapping the keel. The ship took on half its weight in water in under a minute. For 5 grueling hours, sailors fought catastrophic fires and held the ship together. Miraculously, no American died. U.S. Navy divers recovered specific Iranian mine fragments from the wreckage, providing undeniable proof. Then President Ronald Reagan was briefed and immediately ordered Operation Praying Mantis, a devastating retaliatory strike. Surface attack groups Bravo, Charlie, and Delta were assembled, supported by the aircraft carrier USS Enterprise. 4 days later, the U.S. struck. Bravo Group radioed the Sasan oil platform, converted by Iran into a naval base, giving Iranians time to evacuate. Most left, except one soldier who opened fire with an anti-aircraft gun. A single 5-inch shell from a U.S. destroyer eliminated him. Marines were sent in with demolition charges, leveling the platform. Charlie Group handled the sim platform the same way, hammering it until nothing was left standing. Iran retaliated. The missile boat Joshan fired a Harpoon missile at Charlie Group, but American countermeasures knocked it out mid-flight. The US responded with 5 missiles, sinking the Joshan immediately. Iranian F-4 Phantom jets tried to intervene, but were met with surface-to-air missiles that blew the wing off of one jet. But out of all of this, the defining moment was still to come. Delta Group located the Iranian frigate Shahed. A-6 intruder jets from the USS Enterprise flew in so low that the Shahed's anti-aircraft guns couldn't track them. When the Shahed fired missiles at the climbing jets, the American pilots dodged them, turned around, and dropped laser-guided bombs alongside a Harpoon missile. The Shahed exploded and sank. The second frigate, the Sabalan, made the exact same mistake. An A-6 pilot dodged their anti-aircraft fire, dove at a steep 35-degree angle, and dropped a laser-guided bomb straight down the ship's smokestack. It detonated inside the engine room, leaving the Sabalan completely dark and dead in the water. In just 8 hours, the US Navy destroyed more than half of Iran's entire functioning navy. It was a brutal lesson in American naval supremacy that set the exact stage for what we're seeing today. Fast forward to 2026, and the US walked into Operation Epic Fury with that same destructive energy. Iran's prized drone carrier, the Shahed, was destroyed at its berth and Bandar Abbas within hours. The Iris Makran, a massive floating sea base, was struck and set ablaze. Multiple frigates were relentlessly hunted down, with the Iris Dena intercepted and sunk in the Indian Ocean by a Mark 48 torpedo fired from the nuclear submarine USS Charlotte, a historic precision strike. Iran's submarine fleet was decimated. One Kilo-class submarine was destroyed while still docked, and their Ghadir midget submarines, heavily relied upon for mine-laying, were wiped out in their pins. Within weeks, CENTCOM officially declared Iran's submarine fleet non-operational. Over 120 Iranian vessels have been reportedly sunk or disabled. But the United States isn't just using military force. They're actively forcing a geopolitical endgame. In March 2026, the Trump administration laid out a strict 15-point ultimatum to Tehran. While the media focused on nuclear demands, the core targets Iran's asymmetric warfare. Points 7 and 8 demand the complete abandonment of their proxy network. But the most crucial demand is point 9, a condition that the Strait of Hormuz must remain open as a free maritime zone forever. The US Navy is using its destroyers to physically enforce these demands. But is Iran backing down? The Iranian military command's public response was chilling. Top Commander Ebrahim Zulfikari scoffed at the plan, stating, "Are you negotiating with yourself? People like us can never agree with people like you." It's a clear signal that Tehran's hardliners aren't ready to surrender. And now the full picture becomes clear. Iran's not fighting with drones, sea mines, swarm boats, and proxies because that's their first choice. They're doing it because they've been on the receiving end of American naval power twice. Sailing their conventional navy out to face the US Navy in open waters isn't a military strategy for Iran, it's a death wish. So they fight from the shadows, from the coastline, through proxies, and from underground missile batteries hidden deep in cliff sides. Not because they want to, but because they've seen exactly what happens when they don't. The balance of power in the Middle East is more fragile than ever. Do you think Iran will eventually fold to Washington's 15-point ultimatum, or are we looking at the dawn of a full-scale regional war? Drop your analysis in the comments below. If you want to stay ahead of the curve on global flashpoints and modern naval warfare, hit the like button and make sure to subscribe to the channel. We'll keep you updated on the front lines. Thanks for watching.